Kia ora, Tefano, Markie here with a shaky camera with lots of ambient background noises. It's quite windy here, so I'll try and speak loudly so you can hear me clearly. Got aircraft going in overhead and birds singing and the process of life going on all around us, so that's kind of how things are, I guess. I want to do a video on retroactive jealousy, and this is a somber thought, really, quite a scary, serious thought. Is there such a thing as false recovery from retroactive jealousy? I suspect that there is, and it's a very sad thing. Okay, so as we've covered in other videos, retroactive jealousy tends to strike really good relationships. It doesn't kind of strike mediocre relationships, and it doesn't strike in the early stages of relationships. It strikes, RJ tends to occur where love. You look for love, and where you find love, that's where you'll find RJ. Obviously not always, but in the people that have RJ. And it occurs mainly in the relationships where people think, well, this is the one, this is the relationship, this is an important relationship, this is the one that, this is the person that I want to maybe spend the rest of my life with. That's the kind of relationships that RJ strikes in. Okay, so if your RJ starts to get better all by its little self, then maybe you are slowly and gradually, without even noticing it consciously, backing away from that relationship. Maybe what you are doing is protecting yourself from the retroactive jealousy by numbing yourself to the love and the intimacy. And what you're actually doing is kind of energetically tiptoeing out of the back door without realizing it. Okay, so what you're let me see if I can. I want to kind of put that in a few different ways, really, because it's a subtle concept, really. So basically, by emotionally disconnecting yourself from your partner and from your relationship, you will numb and hope and probably eventually disconnect the feelings of retroactive jealousy. Okay, so you will start to feel better in terms of the retroactive jealousy, but a spark has gone out in your relationship in the process. Now, isn't that an interesting concept? So we talk about relationships dying because of retroactive jealousy, and we tend to kind of think, the partner got fed up with it and, voted with their feet and said, I've had enough of this, I'm off. Or there were just too many arguments, kind of conscious, overt behaviours that can be, observed by others. But this is kind of like an inner process, a kind of a death, a slow death, really, is what I would call this. So just something to think about, and I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on this. So maybe, if you've had RJ for a while, you've been in a few relationships and they've not worked out, but they've started well, and where retroactive jealousy has been present, has that happened? Have you slowly disconnected from your partner? Have you kind of starved the love out of your relationship? And did it end not with a bang, but with a whimper? As in, the relationship just kind of lost its buzz, lost its spark, the love kind of ebbed away. Or maybe you stayed in, for example, maybe you've stayed in loveless relationships for years, maybe a relationship that should have ended a long time ago, but because there was no real heart to it anymore. There once was, but you've kind of emotionally gone on vacation, and you stayed in that relationship for a long time, and it just wasn't good. It's kind of mediocre, it's kind of okay, it wasn't kind of necessarily wasn't necessarily a what's the word I'm looking for, a tumultuous relationship. It was probably the opposite. It was probably a very peaceful relationship where maybe you both ended up going your separate ways and kind of living separate lives together. You know, that's another way that this this theory that I'm kind of presenting could have manifested. So yeah, I think this is really important to be aware of. So if you're suffering with retroactive jealousy now, it will probably be because you're in a really good relationship that you really value, and if it's starting to get slightly better on its own without any therapeutic work on your part or any changes on your part, the chances are maybe that you're just starting to disconnect emotionally, and that's a very slippery slope, really. So if that's happening, and you don't want that slow death of your relationship to occur, it's time to take action, really. So yeah, something to think about, really. That kind of struck me yesterday. It's not something that struck me for the first time. I think I've been aware of this for a long time, really, but I've never really taken time to kind of reflect upon that. I think this is a really important one. So hopefully this is hopefully this is a kind of relationship saver for people. I hope that if you can become aware of this possibility in time and take the right remedial action, then the slow death does not have to occur. So food for thought. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, so stick them in if you're watching this on YouTube, stick them in the comments below. If you're watching this on Patreon, stick them in the comments below. Thanks very much. Rangi Markie.